Welcome back, everybody. Now we're going to talk about...
Wait, I want to just mention that. Kathy just popped in here and said that there's no link to the huddles on Virtual Office right now. So just give it a couple hours. We're working on it. For some reason, it's not there. So we're on it. Yeah, it will be there shortly. So stay tuned on that.
And thank you for being so attentive to registering.
Yes. As we tell them, you must register, then there's no link. Oops.
Please come back. Hour or two should be up and running. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good stuff.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the sale of buyer's property schedule.
Yes.
About making offers, because a lot of you are making offers now that are subject to the sale of your buyer's home. It's become a hot topic. The management team is receiving multiple calls per week on this.
Yeah.
And there's actually there's more strategy involved than what you would first think when it comes to putting this in.
I'm interested to see what your strategies are.
Well, thank you. And as with yours.
I wonder if we do it differently, or how we haven't talked about this in advance. So we'll see how this pans out.
So to start, one thing that all agents should be doing with educating their buyers is, if we find the right property, do we have to sell your property first? Sounds pretty elementary, but you'd be surprised how many agents make an offer, then they find out, oh, and we have to sell your home. It's crazy how that sometimes happens, but it does. You got to, I think the first thing you have to do, and I'd love to hear what you feel on this, or strategies to do it.
Yep.
But I feel like the first thing you need to do is outline with your buyer, should we even start shopping in the first place? Mm-hmm. Or should we really hammer in on what it's going to look like to list your home?
Chicken or the egg?
There we go. And second to that is, let's pretend that we did find the right house. Mm-hmm. Is it a necessity by the bank or the lender to sell your home, or is it a personal preference?
Right. Good point.
In this current market, you can come across some pretty amazing sales of homes. I've been seeing some homes that used to be marketed and selling for $600,000 that are going for $525,000. I mean, that's a massive price reduction for the move-up home, usually in that case. And if a buyer comes in saying, no, it's a preference, well, they might deem otherwise when you get in that position. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to take them down that road unless you know for sure that they can be approved for it, for one, versus it just being a personal preference. There's the odd occasion, and actually not the odd occasion, it does happen where the home they're going to sell is a true gem. And it's at a price point which is very sellable. Yes. So I'm not recommending that everybody takes the risk. But they need to understand the full scope of what they can and can't do first. Or your sellers might think it's a real gem. True. But you don't. Yes, well said. So there's that to work out as well. So a lot of dialogue, a lot of discussions, finding out what they have to do versus what they'd like to do. Agree. And getting the bank's backing before you even go down this road. I agree. And then I also find that sellers will often ask you, what do we do first? Mm-hmm. Should we sell our home first and then shop, or should we shop and then sell our home? Mm-hmm. And I think that is going to be pretty specific to your clients and the scenario that you're working in at that time. And I don't think there's a cookie cutter answer. There's no blanket statement. There's no blanket statement. It's just, you just got to feel it out and talk to your clients and explain to them kind of both ways. If they're looking for something really specific and they don't want to sell their house unless they find the perfect house, well, then you probably want to find the house first. Yes. Because without that, they're not going to want to sell their existing home. So there's that scenario. But on the flip side, if they're just, pretty average, normal clients looking for whatever, something specific to them, but is totally achievable and findable, you might want to list the house first. So it just depends on the scenario. I don't think there's an easy answer. You know what's interesting is being at a party and somebody saying, well, I don't know what I should do. I was talking to this realtor, and this realtor said that, oh, no matter what, you have to sell your house first. This market doesn't favor, things, and you don't want to be caught. Well, it's funny, because if you ever hear somebody make that statement, that's your cue to dive in deeper and say, you know what, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Yeah. Let's have a discussion about that. Let's talk about your existing property and what your goal is. And what it does ultimately is that other realtor's blanket statement gets your foot in the door. Yep. Right? Totally. So, yeah.
Well, it gives you the opportunity to explain how this works too. I think
It does.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about sale of buyer's home conditions, and there's a lot of agents that don't quite understand it, which is why we get a lot of questions on it. So maybe, Terence, what we should do is just give a quick overview of how this clause functions. Well, and that it's often called a clause sale. There's a lot of lingo in real estate that you don't know unless you know.
Special clause sale,
Yeah,
yep.
so, and this is one of them to me. So for the newer agents out there, or maybe you haven't heard of this before, but often people refer to these as clause sales, which is not at all in the sale of buyer's home condition words, but they're talking about the same thing.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
Private comments, 24-hour special clause sale, so on and so forth. So basically, let's break it down. You've got a buyer that the lender has said, or their personal preference is that they're going to buy a property, but it's going to be subject to the sale of their home.
Yeah.
Sometimes their home is already listed for sale on the MLS.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Other times, it's not listed at all. And so they've got to insert that into the contract. So when the seller receives this offer, they look at it, and they're going through it. The price is here, the possession date is so-and-so, the conditions. Oh, there's a sale of buyer's home condition. So what that seller is going to do is ask the realtor, tell me about that property that they've got for sale. Pull it up on the MLS. Let me take a look at it.
Yeah.
Or tell me what you know about it, or if it isn't on the market, they're going to have some more questions about it.
Which are totally justified in my opinion.
Completely.
Yeah, I think a lot of buyers, agents don't really understand why they want all of the information. But think of yourself in the position of receiving that offer. You want to know that that property is priced right.
Yes.
You're probably going to do a market analysis on it. I would, for sure.
I would too.
I would definitely do my due diligence to make sure that that agent is doing a good job at trying to sell that house, to make sure that that condition can hopefully be removed quickly.
That's right. And as a buying agent, with you sending this over, this is not a time to be vague. This is not a time to be, yeah, there's a sale of buyer's home condition. Get back to me with your seller's response. This is not that time.
No.
Your time is to try to sell the people you're making the offer to on the fact that this house is going to sell.
Yeah.
And they need to work with your offer.
Yeah.
Because it's going to motivate your client to actually sell their home if an offer comes in. There's many different ways around it.
Yep.
But you've definitely got to give more information and really try to sell that other realtor on why this is good, hoping
while maintaining all the confidential stuff.
Absolutely.
You don't want to give away, the horse in the cart or whatever that saying is.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, you do need to make sure that you're giving the relevant information so that they want to take your offer.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
So one of the common questions that comes up whenever sale of buyer's home condition is okay, so I've got a sale of buyer's home condition in the contract.
Yep.
What do I do with my financing and my inspection terms? Well, there's a couple different ways to go about this depending on your buyer's situation. If your buyer's in a position where they're okay spending the inspection money and getting the inspection done, which is ultimately what I would have always recommended for my buyers, we're going to get our financing approval in place. We're going to do 7 to 10 business days. We may take the chance and spend the money on the inspection and get that done and out of the way. If your client doesn't want to spend that kind of money, you could always put in there, you could reword the contract and basically state within 7 business days of the removal of the sale of buyer's home condition. And this will basically state that you accept our offer now, we'll put our home on the market. 2 weeks later, we've got a conditional sale in our home, and now we're going to start our inspection. We're going to give you notice, we're going to start our inspection. And what that essentially allows that buyer to do is have a little bit of comfort that they're not going to put out money on this inspection and then get bumped out of the sale by another buyer that comes in a couple days later.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, Chloe?
Yes. Okay. From the seller's agent's perspective, I wouldn't want to see that. I would want your clients to do the home inspection up front and condo docs, whatever it happens to be.
Yep.
I would want to see that up front to protect my sellers in that you're willing to put out the $500 or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So that I know I have a motivated buyer that really does want the property. On the flip side of that, from the buyer's perspective, if there's something going on in the house, you want to know that up front. You don't want to wait until you sell your house.
That's right.
to find out that the foundation's shot.
Yep.
You want to know that up front so that you're not wasting time yourself as a buyer as well. I can totally understand it from the buyer's perspective, how they want to, protect their money and do that whole kind of thing. But I don't personally like that. That's just me, though.
No, I agree in full.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. I'm going to go, if my property's not on the market yet,
yes.
I'm going to jump through all these hoops.
Yeah.
Pretty much going to go into the hurry-up offense to get this photos, measurements, the house clean, decluttered, get it on the market, only to find out that after I've conditionally sold it, everything's
something's
shot.
wrong with the house. Yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So I wouldn't go that direction, but I can understand why some buyers do want to go that direction.
Yep.
Let's go back to, you just mentioned, getting everything decluttered, getting everything ready to list the house. My suggestion would be when you are in a position where you know you're going to have to list a property, I think there's a lot of confusion with agents that, okay, well, we'll write the offer and then we'll get your property up like next week.
Right.
That's not how these work.
No.
You need to be like ready to go.
Yes.
And again, as a seller's agent receiving this offer, I want to see that you're going to have this property on the market in like 2 days max. We don't want to be waiting around for you to get your house ready. Like, you should have your house ready when you're writing this offer.
That's
to
right.
me.
That's right.
And maybe that's, I don't know, maybe I'm cold blood, but
I would
think
agree with
be
you.
Ready.
You're respecting your time as well.
And the time of the people whose house you're buying.
Yep.
And your own time.
Let me touch on that.
Yeah.
So basically, I would agree with you. We don't want to go down this road of putting the offer in.
Yeah.
Having to go through all this process, and it's going to take 5 days.
Yeah.
We do all this, and 2 days later, another offer comes in and bumps us out anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just pointless.
Yeah.
So going down this road, down this pathway, they've got to be ready that as soon as we find that property, they're on.
Yeah. Or like the moment you've signed this contract, you are finishing paperwork on their listing.
Yep.
Their property is already clean and decluttered, and
Photos
are
and
tomorrow.
measurements are tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got
Away
it.
we go.
Yep.
It's and I believe that warrants a pretty serious conversation up front with your clients, so that they are ready to go, so that they're not just lottie-dying it. Like, this is a very time sensitive condition. And can we put this up on the screen?
Yes, I believe we can.
Let's put it up on the screen, because something that I think is not stressed enough, and a lot of people don't I think people who use this all the time know this, but when you have this condition in place, you have let's just pull it, okay, it's on the screen now. You have a certain amount of hours to waive all the conditions. So it's under 1.6. If the seller accepts another purchase contract, then the seller will give written notice, seller's notice, to the buyer that the buyer has blank hours to waive all the buyer's conditions in this contract. This is not just this clause. This is all the conditions. So you need to be in a position, unless you have changed this, like you mentioned earlier.
Yes, and we'll get to that in a little bit here.
Yeah, unless you've changed this wording, you need to be ready to remove all your conditions within probably 24 to 48 hours. If you're lucky, you might have 72 hours if you really negotiated that hard.
Yes.
But more than likely, it's 24 to 48. So you got to be like ready to go. Home inspection's done. Financing is in place. All you need to do is remove this sale.
This is probably a good time to bring up a strategy.
Yes.
So in essence, we discussed it earlier about how you could put within X amount of days of removal of sale of buyer's home condition. We also discussed the importance as a buyer to do your inspection right away. At least have an idea from the bank that you're approved pending the sale of your home. That's the ideal way to go.
Yes.
In the instance, though, where you make the offer, it's accepted, and let's pretend that your house is on the market. Let's fast forward 2 days, and you get a conditional sale on your own listing that you have to sell.
Yes.
A strategy that we strongly recommend that you employ is to now send the property you're buying, send them an amendment that removes the sale of buyer's home condition and inserts enough condition days to do your financing and your inspection, and get that out of the way.
Well, and
that's because of that clause right there.
Because I'm a stickler, I would also insert a clause or a condition that is subject to your purchase contract on your home firming up.
That's right.
So, so while you're removing the clause sale, that removes that trigger, that 24, 48-hour trigger on you, that goes away. So if you get an offer on your client's property and you think the market might be moving and they might get another offer quickly, there's the option of amending the contract to remove the clause and insert another condition that is subject to the firming up of whatever contract.
Now, since managing, I've seen a few scenarios where this is played out this way, where they've done the purchase subject to the sale. They've received an offer on the property that they have to sell. And the property they have to sell, it still requires about 7 days before that buyer can remove the conditions. But what happens is on the property that they're buying, they receive 24-hour notice that they have to remove all conditions.
In the middle of the condition period.
Right in the middle of the period. So they're not prepared to do that. So the whole thing that led them down this road to list their property is the purchase of this property. And now they're about to lose it because they cannot remove all their conditions, because what if the sale of their own home falls through? So to make sure that that doesn't become an issue, you as the realtor need to really drive the bus here. And you really need to set expectations with your buyer client. And you need to tell them, once we get your property conditionally sold, we need to remove that condition in favor of a traditional condition period. Insert the other term that protects us if the sale of our own home does not firm up, so that your buyer has the highest advantage. We don't want to run a risk that another offer comes in and bumps us out after we've done all this work. Not to mention, you're the listing realtor. You've just put out $1,000 worth of listing costs. You spent your time, and now it's all going to go for naught.
The last thing that I would mention in this scenario is talking through the possibilities of having to extend this. Talking to an agent this weekend who was in a situation where a client wrote an offer on a property subject to the sale of their home. Then they got an offer on their home that was subject to the sale of another home.
Domino effect.
And they're so on and so forth. So I think there was like 3 properties in a row that were all subject to the sale of conditions. And that is not that uncommon, really. No, it's fairly common, especially in this market in the last couple of years. So having the conversation where, you know, you might get this condition, the property buyer's sale of buyer's home schedule signed for, let's say, 4 weeks. You might have 4 weeks to remove this. But you're coming to the 4th week and the other people's house, or the like, you know, three houses down the line still hasn't sold, and they're asking for an extension on this house, and they're actually asking for an extension on this house, and so on. So you might be put in a position where you need an extension on this, and having that conversation with your clients up front so that they understand, even if they're just sellers and you have a buyer that has subject to the home sale on it, you need to explain to your clients that they might want an extension at some point or another. And talking through, you know, if they haven't had any other offers or they haven't had any, you know, real interest in it other than the offer that you have, it's not devastating to have to extend it. Yes, it's not ideal. You want that property to sell, obviously. But if you don't have any other interest, then you might just have to extend it.
100%. You know, that brings up another discussion, and thank you for explaining that, because a lot of people can resonate well with that. There's some agents that would guide their clients not to accept these types of offers with subject to sale of their home. They feel like it's almost a negative thing for future offers that might come in. I disagree.
I disagree as well.
I like having an offer on the property and being able that when an offer or a buying party calls and is interested, I will tell them, we do have a clause sale in place. You know, if I have permission, of course, from my seller. We do have a clause sale in place. And you know what? There's a good chance your buyer, if they love this property, can bump them out. So please, show the property.
But don't guarantee it.
Nope, don't guarantee it. But you want to encourage the showings to happen, because we all know some agents that they feel like it's a waste of their time and they're spinning their wheels. But when it's a clause sale in this market, there's a chance that property's not going to sell.
There's a chance.
And there's also a bigger chance nowadays that the buyer is not going to take the risk of owning 2 homes.
Right.
So there's a really realistic chance that your buyer can bump the conditional sale off, and now you're the primary.
Yep.
So
Yep.
keep that in mind.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything else you want to?
I don't know. I think we covered it pretty good.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Look, we're almost on time.
Yes, indeed.
Close.
Somehow
Okay.
we're 5 minutes over, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, Terrence's mic is down. I guess I'll finish this out. So we've got another little video for you to finish up the day here, but otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And we won't see you next week on here, but someone will. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see you in the office. So have a great week.